Welcome to Wellness Wednesday. I am just checking some stuff off here and then I will get started. I hope you guys had a wonderful weekend, a long, um, a long holiday weekend. We're actually just getting back into the groove today, so it's nice. It's really nice. I'm enjoying it. I enjoyed the downtime and had so much fun. I actually fell down the waterfall. I lost my back foot gripping and I went tumbling down. Scared that crap out of the guys that were in the pool behind me. But I'm okay. I survived. It was fun. I would do it again in a heartbeat. It was so much fun. Anyway, I'm gonna get to sharing here. It was hilarious. I have some bumps and bruises to show for that, but it's okay. I'll show you what I used because it includes this oil that I'm going to talk about. You guys, I just love this oil so much. All right, so for those of you that are new to our space, I'm Romelia. Let me move my little thingy up so that I can see all of my screen. And welcome to Wellness Wednesday. So I thought I'd try something new because I really haven't just sat down and highlighted any oils for you. I remember that I used to put stuff up in our group, to do a spotlight of the week kind of thing, and I used to put it in the newsletter. And I've just had so many people reaching out and asking really specific questions about oils. So I thought this would be a really good starting place, considering it's our product of the month. And so I'm thinking that's probably what I will do. See how it goes, gauge your feedback. You let me know if this is something that you like, that you found value in, and if you don't, then we'll change it all up again. I am waiting for some confirmation on a couple of people. So I hope to bring in some guests for you, probably in August or the last week of July. We're still working on that. Anyway, so Cypress. Oh my goodness, one of my absolute favorite oils, you guys. It really is. I know that I say that a lot about our oils because they're just all so powerful and wonderful. But this one right here really is one of my, it's probably in my top 10. Only because of the research that I conducted on this oil when I first came across it, and then just knowing all the tremendous support that it has for respiratory. This was also a key oil for us when we were transitioning my son. This was constantly in the diffuser along with eucalyptus. Now, you guys, if you like to do deep dives into oils and you have some respiratory, you need some respiratory health support, trying to stay compliant here, do your research on Cypress and eucalyptus. You will not be sorry. They are fascinating. All right, so, didn't work for me that way. So let's look at some historical use. That's just one species of cypress that you see there on that pic there. That's actually my homeland or my retirement land. That's my life goal right there, you guys. Headed down to Italy. Anyway, so the ancient Romans used to cultivate these cypress trees all throughout the Roman Empire. It was like their calling card that we're here, we've conquered, and they would plant these along roadsides. Very beautiful. The Egyptians used to use the bark of the cypress tree to make their sarcophagi. So they would they would use that to create these beautiful containers, that they would take into their tombs. You can still find some of those in museums. I know that the one in England still has some of those that are from the cypress tree. Phoenicians and Cretans used to use the wood for their ships. It's a very sturdy wood, and also in the Jewish tradition, cypress is part of the wood that they used to build Noah's Ark. In Latin, sempervirens or sempervirens, means ever living or evergreen. So that is one type of species of cypress that we're going to find in our cypress oil, but it's a really symbolic tree for the ancient Latin, because it does represent life after death. And Iran is very popular for using cypress trees in, ornamental cypress trees as ornaments in their gardens. And there is said to believe to exist the oldest living cypress tree to be about 4,000 years old in a garden in Iran. I think that's pretty fascinating that it's stayed, that it's still alive and well, in this day and age. Some other historical uses of cypress have been used because of what its name means. You can find a lot of cypress trees in cemeteries. It's associated with mourning. There's a really beautiful poem that was written about the cypress being gloomy and being dark and very lowly. Some medicinal ways that they used to use cypress is that they would steep the leaves and make a tea. And that tea was like your go-to for everything, for any kind of respiratory issues, cardiovascular issues, lymphatic issues. They would just drink this tea. And this is across the board: your ancient Greeks, your Romans, your Cretians, your Phoenicians. And then to highlight some more on the whole life after death and mourning aspect, you did have Celtic mourners that would place their dead in a cypress tree for burial. So it's been around for a really long time, and you even find it in Shakespearean literature. It's just a lot of symbolism that comes with these cypress trees. So I like that. I like the history of it, but I'm just a fan on the benefits of this oil. So there are two species that are in our cypress oil. We have the Cupressus lusitanica. Sorry, my tongue's kind of funky this morning. And then we have the Cupressus sempervirens. So there are two different species of cypress, and they're harvested from two different parts of the world. The sempervirens is sourced in Morocco and Spain, and the other one, lusitanica, there we go, is sourced in Kenya. And I'm going to give you some more information about that. But having two species of cypress trees, it really creates a sustainable source for this oil. And it also improves all of the benefits and amplifies everything about this oil. So it's a beautiful blend. And if you don't have it, if you're a member, you can get it free this month. And we'll talk more about that. So what makes this a really beautiful oil? Now, let me just share my quick doTERRA story. So you guys know that we came to doTERRA for sleep. We were looking, I wasn't looking, but it landed on my lap, and my son had some sleep issues. A friend shared an oil, and it opened up this whole different way of taking care of our home and body. So one of the things that, as I went into my deep dive of doing research, I love to do that. I like to learn more, and I want to make sure that my dollars are being used, in a very good way, and they're supporting something. It just has to be something of service for me. It's just my calling. It is what I do. I love to serve. So when I came across this whole co-impact sourcing component for doTERRA, that did it for me. I was done. I knew that this was something that I was going to do forever. And I really didn't even think I was going to build a business with this. But then the more I learned about the culture of doTERRA and what it is that they do for these communities, it aligned with everything that I believe in, my core values. So I was in. So what in Kenya, and this is the Lusitanica species of the cypress trees. They primarily before doTERRA, offer to help them create a more sustainable income. Cypress trees are being grown for timber. And if you know anything about that, that's a long-term commitment, and it's also a long-term return on your investment. I mean, meaning like it's going to take at least 20 years to get, something substantial from your grove of cypress trees. So in order to just kind of move from that, well, let me back up a little bit. Part of the process of taking care of these trees and prepping them for timber there was a lot of harvesting of the lower limbs being done, because if you saw that picture back in the beginning, they were really long trees, right? So that's kind of customary that people see that. So a lot of those lower limbs were being trimmed, and they were just becoming landfill material, biomass. Nothing was being done with them. And it wasn't until doTERRA came around and said, maybe we need to look at this, because that's a lot of waste on your trees. Not only that, you're spending a lot of time and investing time and energy and resources to harvest your whole crop all at once. And then you'll have to wait another 10 to 15 years before you're able to, reap another harvest. So they worked with some really smart people, and all of that biomass that was, all that waste, all the trimmings, they are distilling that. So they're no longer going into landfills. Those trimmings of trees that, it was just going to end up in a landfill or somewhere else, that's what's being used to make this really beautiful oil. So incredibly sustainable, because now instead of waiting 10, 20 years to receive a paycheck, these farmers, these folks that are growing these harvest trees in Kenya, they're getting a return for their money within the first 3 years that they start planting. So that is really fabulous. And that's just the culture of doTERRA. They go in and try to have the biggest impact on the greatest amount of people that need the most help. And that's just beautiful about them. So I just wanted to share that story, because I am a big fan of co-impact sourcing. It's the reason that I chose doTERRA. So I'll post a video for you guys underneath this video so that you can go check it out and learn just a little bit more about this co-impact sourcing effort in Kenya. It's just such a beautiful story. I really absolutely love it. So sustainable, yes. So chemical composition of Cypress, of this particular bottle. And just FYI, if you ever want to know what kind of test and what's in your bottle, bottles of doTERRA have a code on the bottom. There's a website, Source to You, that you can go in and input this code, and you can get all information about your bottle of oil. I really appreciate their transparency, especially when, I do have people that have some sensitivities, whether, it's some respiratory issues, whether it's some skin allergies or food allergies. I want to know what's in this bottle. I want to make sure that if I'm leaving it out on the table for my family to ingest, to put on, to diffuse, it's going to be safe for them and for my dogs. So this Cypress has two main constituents in there. You have theta-3 carine and alpha pinene. You will see that alpha pinene is the major constituent in here. So some things to know about these two chemicals. Delta-3 carine, and all you have to do, you guys, is go and do a search on PubMed for that particular chemical composition, and you will find a plethora of research that is being done on this. It's fascinating. I can't go into it because it really isn't compliant, but I encourage you to do your research. It definitely helps with decreasing your bodily fluid production, whether it's your tears, your mucus. That's why it's so wonderful for swollen ankles. It helps to reduce inflammation, improve memory and cognitive function. It's lifting whatever brain fog you have there. And it does accelerate bone repair and growth. So I found that last one really interesting, because when I made my broken bone blend, I don't believe I had Cypress in there. But I went and I looked at that research that where they got this information, and lo and behold, it was like, wow. So now I know I will be adding Cypress to my broken bone blend for you guys that, that are in need. So I'll update it for sure. I use it in my muscle blend, my pain roller, and I'll show you that here in just a little bit. So the alpha pinene, which is the greater concentration in here, the greater, it makes up most of the oil. It is another anti-inflammatory, so it is wonderful for pain, for inflammation, for swelling. You're going to find relief from this. Promotes pain relief and relaxation. That whole scent is just so divine, so calming. I always find our tree oils to be incredibly grounding. And aids in memory and respiratory function. So you have a double whammy there with that whole memory and cognitive function here, but it also supports respiratory function. And you have the surface cleansing properties. I can't expand on that, but think about what lands on your counters. Think about what comes into your house and lands on your carpet, on your furniture. Diffuse this puppy right here to get you into a cleaner space, a cleaner ear space. And it just smells so good. So benefits, I touched on the clear breathing, the bladder support, definitely muscle tension and water retention. It goes back to that bladder support. Varicose veins is another one. I do believe in our July promo ebook, I posted a recipe for that for you guys. Oily skin and scalp, this is wonderful. If you do have oily skin, you can just add this to your toner. You can make your own toner, which I'll show you here in a bit. Or if you're using it for your scalp, you can just use like maybe a carrier oil to give yourself a scalp treatment. You can add it to your shampoos. This also supports cardiovascular health and amazing emotional support. There's actually, I read about 3 different studies this past weekend on the emotional support of Cypress essential oil. Amazing, you guys. So some uses for circulation. Apply 2 drops to the bottom of your feet, morning and night. So this is for someone that can use a little extra support with your cardiovascular system. All right, so if you find yourself that you need some help in that department, a couple of drops on the bottom of your feet, morning and night, it's going to help you out a lot. Bladder support. Now this can, yes, for the overall health of your bladder, but also if you're feeling some kind of bladder discomfort, I'm going to just leave it at that. You can put 2 drops directly over your bladder and repeat that every couple of hours if you need to, especially if you're dealing with something very specific. If you just want overall support, you can do the same thing like you do with circulation. Just put it on your bladder morning and night. Pre-workout, love this on calves, on my calves before working out. I actually use it within my pain roller that I'll talk about here in just a bit. But it's so great for circulation. It starts to warm up the muscles. It's really wonderful, especially if you know you're going to do a lot of intense exercises, or you're doing some endurance exercises. It's really great for that. Helps with the fatigue. Bedwetting. So this is the one that really surprised me the very first time I heard about it. But then it kind of makes sense because it supports, bladder health overall. So if you have someone that is really struggling with this, you can just put 2 drops on over their bladder, neat, and you can do that right before bed. See if that doesn't help you out. Now, remember, like I mentioned before, don't expect things to just like miraculously be gone or be fixed or be better or whatever. It's consistency, you guys. You have to be consistent with these oils so that you can get the most benefit and the biggest effect from them. Calms emotions. So, our scent is and smell is very entwined with our limbic system. So this right here really helps to kind of de-escalate your emotions, especially if you're feeling a little erratic and a little out of control. Put some Cypress in your hands, inhale it. I would go as far as after inhaling it, putting it on your neck and maybe even rubbing it on your chest so that you can smell it. Definitely diffuse it. If you're going to, if you're back at work and you're able to diffuse in your office and it's going to be a stressful day, pop this puppy into your diffuser. Cypress is also a natural deodorant, so it helps to, it's a great antiperspirant. So you'll find Cypress essential oils, DIYs for a lot of deodorants and soaps. It even makes a really lovely men's cologne because it just smells so yummy. Very masculine. So here's a recipe that was shared with me, a summer body massage blend. Now remember what Cypress does. It improves circulation. So I don't know if I would go as far as using that little massage tool there. Kind of looks uncomfortable to me, but you can, I mean, try it with a roller, try it with dry brushing in those areas that you really want to improve. So cypress, cilantro, grapefruit, cinnamon, peppermint, all of these are really going to support the health of that tissue, and it's going to help with that appearance of that bumpy skin. So using this is going to be really helpful. You can do this, you know, before you go to bed. You can dry brush before you get into the shower. I will say just be careful with that grapefruit because it is a photosensitive essential oil. You don't want to be exposed to sunlight after using it. So make sure that, you know, this is something that you can do in the morning or you can do it at night if you're covering up. Garden Fresh Toner. So this is really going to help with that oily skin. Helichrysum is going to help as well with improving the tone and texture of the skin as well. So you can use witch hazel here. You can, if you're not really up to using some witch hazel, just use it with water. Just create a little facial mist with that. I like to do that. Ever since we made these in, gosh, and I'm almost out. We made this little mister, this little facial mister in a class. I really like this one. It's very calming and soothing to my skin. I don't have oily skin, I have sensitive skin. So I don't have cypress in there. I have other oils, but helichrysum is in. Anyway, so it helps to just reduce some of those skin blemishes and just improve your facial skin overall. A foot soak. So if you have, you know, some swollen ankles, your feet are tired, they're sore. If you're a pregnant mama and you're finding your feet swelling, this is a really good foot soak. And if you're not into a foot soak, you don't want to stick in there. What you can do is you can actually just use it as a massage into your feet. You know, it'll be very helpful for you to do that. Let me hide these again. All right, so it's very easy to use too. Juniper berry also helps with the swelling as well. So this makes a really good combination, especially if your feet are swollen. So a skin firming roller. This kind of goes into that same idea of that massage blend, but this one is more specific for maybe, you know, here in the neck area, maybe around your eyes carefully, and using it with your gua sha stone. So this could really help again to improve your overall health too. So if you want more ways to use Cypress, there are at least 3 to 4 pages of recipes and diffuser blends in our July promo ebook. So you can download that. And then there's also some other recipes in our private Facebook group. If you're not a member already, feel free to join. And just, you know, really looking at some ways to use your oils. Yeah, they smell wonderful, but if you're not using them, they're not serving you. So, you know, think about some of the things that you need support in and see how Cypress fits into that. For us members, if you place a 125 PV order, LRP order by the 15th of this month, they're going to add a free bottle of Cypress. It really is worth it. This, like I said, is like probably in my top 10 just because of the experiences that we have had with this. So let me get out of here. Let me stop sharing so I can show you something. Let me show you something. All right. Actually, let's go to the gallery view if that's going to be okay. I have Michelle there. All right. So this right here, my friends. All right. So this is an empty margarine bottle. All right. This is my pain relief roller. So I think I've shared this with you before. This has a little roller top that I purchased, and I just removed the orifice, the little plastic orifice from the bottle, and I put this in. So my pain roller, I think I've mentioned before that I am pretty aggressive when I'm tackling certain things. I really do love to use my oils, and I try to attack whatever the issue is from different directions. So I constantly am adding a lot of oils for one little thing. So my blend here that I absolutely love, and I hope I get it right because I don't write it down. I've been doing this for years now, and it's probably the same margarine bottle for years. I've even made one for my sister who has found some support with her swelling of her hands. That's all I can say on that. And I've shared this so many times with my mom-in-law, with friends that really need that support. So this has 5 drops of each, because you really don't need that much. I tell myself that, but I still do it anyway. It has 5 drops of frankincense, copaiba, marjoram, lemongrass, wintergreen, peppermint, eucalyptus, cypress, and lavender. Did I miss one? Because I thought there was like 10 oils in here. I think that may be it. So I know that that's a lot of oils, and I just put 5 drops into the bottle, and then I top it off with fractionated coconut oil, and this just does an amazing job. I carry this with me. This is in my top. I have 2 of these, and I have 10 rollers that I carry with me at all times. This is one of them. And this came in so handy when we went to the falls, and I told you I fell down the falls. So I got some bumps and bruises, but I started off with a baseball size welt on both of my shins from hitting the rocks. And I just applied this I applied it as soon as my skin dried. I dried off, applied it again when we got to the restaurant. And then I applied it again before I went to bed. I woke up the next day and the swelling was almost completely gone. There was just a little bit of bruising left. And even with my elbow, I had right here, this right here, I don't even know if you could see it. Can you see that little bruise? So this was probably about this big. And that's all I've been doing is rubbing this on there. Rosemary, boom, it has rosemary in here. That's right. Yes, it has rosemary. So it's just a really wonderful blend. I love my Cypress for this. And I think it's only been the past couple of years that I started adding it to my blend. I think before then I didn't have Cypress, I only had eucalyptus. But like I said, those oils have different chemical constituents and they attack the problem from different areas. So I find a lot of support with this. I'll make sure to post this in our Facebook group because I don't think I put it in the July promo ebook. But anyway, so that's it. That's what I have for you guys today. I hope that this was of value to you, and I hope that this is something that you enjoyed. I really do need your feedback to see if this is a direction that I want to continue taking with doing an oil spotlight, because I do believe wellness is all encompassing. It's not just about essential oils. It's about so many other things, and I just want to make sure I'm tapping into those areas as well. All right. Well, thanks for jumping in, Michelle. We'll see you guys later, and peace.